Testing 1 2. Testing 1 2. All right. Shit, let me turn that down. All right. Well, thank you guys for tuning in today. This one was actually going to be rather quick because I actually have to take those off because that echo is crazy in my ear. All right. Today's episode is about what's next. It's it's one of those where if you've been listening, you already know this platform isn't about commentary. I don't have a lot of guests on here. I don't do a lot of this other stuff, but it's about infrastructure because that's what this channel is now. What I'm building now is an ecosystem: education, litigation strategy, asset protection, and accountability, all working together where we're going to have everything that's in one place for the most part. Today, I'm laying out exactly what's coming. And I'm not talking about 6 months from now. I'm not talking about a year from now. I'm talking about things that'll be available once I get offline, as well as things that'll be available in the next 24 to 48 hours. And how you can engage at whatever level that makes sense to you. Because even the Patreons, those that have taken part in the $300 masterclass or the $299 masterclass, or even the $499 masterclass for those that are looking for more advanced information, right? First, I've actually put up on TikTok a couple of days ago the cognitive combat course. This is not motivation. This is not mindset fluff. This course is about how to think under pressure, how to make decisions when the system is designed to confuse, exhaust, or intimidate you. Because this is essential when you're going through the legal process. It's essential in legal and life. These situations are generally, or more often than not, they're life changing. And they're things that you'll actually, I gotta get used to the camera being right here. You gotta actually be used to going through this. And these situations not only work in the courtrooms, they work when you're doing negotiations, they work in high conflict environments because cognitive combat is about mental positioning, timing, and control. And it will stand alone as a serious course, not a content add on. This is one of those where I spoke about when I did the introduction to this. This is not just something for what you're doing with your legal situation. It's one of those things that you can actually carry through life because it's something that is that valuable because it can help you be better at everything that you're doing. Right? And again, I explained the masterclass. There are two tiers. One is the beginner's tier, which I know more often than not, that's the one people are going to gravitate to. Why? Because it's the introduction. It's the things that can handle 99% of misdemeanors and give you a good direction on any felony cases that you may come across. Right? Why? Because in the 299 course, it's the practical strategy, real production breakdown or procedural breakdowns, and how to respond when something goes wrong. Because again, that's part of the correlation of the cognitive combat course, which is also part of that right now. Because you're going to, when you go into any adversarial combat, so to speak. You're going to have some pushback. You're going to have things that are going to not go your way. And I always tell people this is not about the law. This is a psychological battle. This is psychological warfare. So they're going to do things because this is their system to kind of deter you from actually fighting back against them because that's the only thing they know. So when you're hearing these things, you can still rest on the fact that the law says otherwise and you have alternatives that can be turned into your favor. And then the 499 course is the more advanced legal positioning. These are the more strategic filings. And what I mean by strategic filings, this is when you are the escalating to beyond punishment, beyond protections. And these are the things that are essential when you have planes flying over your house. But these are the things that are essential when you're able to go into these court hearings and be able to protect yourself at a different level. And knowing when to escalate, when to pause, and when to focus on the issue. Because there is a time that the issue itself is not your main goal because it's just part of where you're at. And this tier is for people who don't want theory. They want to understand leverage because this is where I speak about chess. Chess, you have those that play every day. You have those that compete. And then you have grandmasters. This is how this masterclass is set up. You have those that, listen to me. Those are the players that play every day. Then you have those that compete. Those will be the people that go into the 299 class. And then you have those that work and compete as grandmasters. That's when you're going into the 499 masterclass. And these things, again, understanding leverage, understanding going into these things is a necessity. And Duck, I'll check. Just let me know which email you sent it to. Matter of fact, I'm gonna put it in the chat. And those of you that actually need that, the email is in the chat where you can send me information. Don't forget, I don't work for free. So understand that as well. I have some links that are in my bio, which you can actually set up to get everything rolling on that. As well as the podcast. Pretty much this. As you can see, I've told you guys 100 times. Well, not 100, I'm exaggerating. But this is literally my backyard. So, why is it shaking like that? Maybe I need to quit hitting the table. Well, this is my backyard. So this is the new set for the podcast. And the podcast is now daily. Got the new equipment. As you can see, the mic. And I hope it sounds good, because I know before it was a lot of echoes on your end. It's still on my end, but I don't hear it through the laptop anymore. And again, it's available all across all major podcasting platforms. And currently, we're reaching listeners in 46 countries. So, hats off to me, however you want to put that. And that matters because these problems are not local. Because I actually tell people that I have worked on cases or helped people in cases in other countries. And even at this point, because abuse of authority, ineffective assistance of counsel, and procedural misconduct exist everywhere. And this show is becoming a daily briefing, and it's unfortunately not for entertainment. But again, I'm not an entertainer. So I'm going to actually launch without a doubt. I was planning on doing it today, but I ran into a couple of things. But it damn sure will launch tomorrow morning. And now today's not over, it's still early. As you can see, the light's still outside. I probably got about another 20 minutes. Anyway, either way, I have lights under here, so I may actually drop it tonight. And I'm launching a new series called Bad Attorneys. No gossip, no opinions. This is about documented conduct, procedural failures, and ethical breakdowns explained so regular people understand the consequences. I'm starting, yes, I have a target, with Carl A. Moore out of Harris County in Houston, Texas. The purpose is simple: sunlight, education, and accountability. Because I'm shining a light on the things, again, you're going to hear it in the Carl A. Moore Bad Attorney show, where I'm going to talk about the things he did and the things he didn't do in a case. I might even bring up a couple of reviews that he has. But again, that's why it's not ready. I had to do some running. That's where we're at. And then again, I'm going to drop another show. Bad Judges. That's going to be right there with bad attorneys and bad cops, because a lot of people don't understand these judges are not good, which again goes deeper into the flawed nature of our policing and legal system, and why someone like myself is necessary. Someone that's not just talking and trying to get views, because that's the one thing a lot of people kind of bring up. Well, you don't have a lot. I don't care. That's not the purpose of this. It's the education that people need that want it. Because what I'm giving you, not a whole lot of people want, because understanding, if I give you this, you now have to rethink everything else that you've been taught your entire life. And I get that. So I don't force this on anybody, but I want you to understand there are bad judges out there, because judges are not immune from scrutiny when they act outside of jurisdiction, ignore due process, or participate in procedural bias. I'm going to say that one more time. Judges are not immune from scrutiny when they act outside of jurisdiction, ignore due process, or participate in procedural abuse. And yes, I have a target. My first focus will be Judge Denise Collins. She's also down in Harris County in Houston, Texas. And again, this isn't personal. This is structural. When the system fails, people deserve to understand how and why. And again, Denise Collins, or Judge Denise Collins' failures in her actions that went outside of jurisdiction, ignoring due process, and participating in procedural abuse is up for scrutiny. And here's the great part about it. I actually learned of this from an article that I read this weekend. That this isn't even the information I have. She's got this complaint on more than one occasion from even a bar associate. What is this on my forehead, man? I think it's off. All right. Got big headitis. All right, now here's the next part too, because I wanna make sure we're growing in the right direction, because it's not just myself, but it's all of us. Trust law and asset protection. I'm going to branch into trust law because again, I think I put this video out maybe 2 years ago, where I was going to do a segment, or even I wasn't even sure if I was going to do another channel called Supreme Trust, but it's law, so it's going on this channel. It'll just be a playlist, and I'm going to branch into it for trust law and wealth protection. And what I mean by that is many of us, and I'm running across it too often. I guess that's why it's more urgent now than ever before. I'm running into people who are saying, I have a trust, and they haven't funded the trust, they haven't registered the trust, they're not using the trust in enactment, or the trust isn't even set up properly. And all of these are problems because if it is not done properly, or let me slow down a little bit, but I'm gonna give you this because defense without protection is incomplete. That's the whole point. Because if you're putting your trust together and it's put together by someone who can't defend it, that trust itself is incomplete and ineffective because it includes asset shielding or should, strategic ownership or should, planning before conflict arises. And this is the part that's most important because it's not just about paper, it's about being able to get in contact with that person when that trust is challenged. And if you're using that trust, it will be challenged at some point. Now, you can also use it for protection of assets to pass down. Wealth creation isn't about earning, it's about not losing what you've already built. And when you're even in that I call it the right above middle or poverty level, when you're making above, hell, I think poverty levels now $17,000. If you're making $20,000, you need to think about asset protection. Because even whenever you have your company that you're working for, let's say Dollar General or Club Car or somewhere of that nature, you need to have something that's protecting the assets that they're, because you have what, you have your 401k with your company because a lot of companies have matching. You need to be able to protect that. If you have an IRA, if you have an annuity, you need to understand how these things work and how they're going to be functional for you in the future. And that's what I'm going to start talking about. And yes, I was an insurance agent. I was a broker. I was all of these things that was necessary to understand this. I am not now. Does not mean the information is gone. And even so, I still study. I get you what you need to get to. Because even if it's not done through me, I have someone else who can take over and get you where you need to go to. So that's also a part of the Supreme ecosystem. I actually like that. We're gonna wait for this damn plane. All right, that okay. He must have was on the side. All right, that's beautiful. Anyway, now this is something that you're gonna see me drop a video on in probably the next hour and a half, 2 hours, but it's going to drop today. But we're gonna do this starting tomorrow morning, which is, let's call it 12 midnight. I'm releasing a template motion package. This is for people who don't want full representation, consulting, or coaching. You want to take me out of the whole process. They want to do this and proceed pro se, intelligently. These templates are not fill in the blanks nonsense. These are guides. Because if you heard me before, one of the things I hate is people out here selling templates because they don't tell you how to use the templates. And my system, that's the answer that I have for the template system that's out here. Because my templates show structure, tone, framing, and strategic sequencing. I'm going to say that one more time. These are guides that show structure, tone, framing, and strategic sequencing. So I'm telling you how and when to file them. I am telling you what needs to be in them, and I'm telling you how to keep it in works to where it can be accepted and will be heard. These are the things that are important, and that's why I'm doing this system, and we're going to say we're launching at midnight. So if that's something that you're looking for, or it's someone that you know, if you know somebody that knows somebody that knows somebody that knows something about it, send them over and we're going to get working. And again, just like I spoke about earlier, Bad Cops series is going to be jumping off. And that's with three F's. We're going to add an extra F to off because we're going to have more cases, more patterns, more education on how misconduct actually shows up in reports, testimony, body cam footage, and the goal is not outrage. It's called pattern recognition. Understand that. I don't do all of this to be vindictive. I do this to shine a light on this. The same light they put on us, I'm putting that same light back onto them. And at some point, this little light of mine is going to shine. All right? So just understand that's what this is. Because everything that I'm building is for one purpose: to give people clarity, leverage, and options where the system usually offers none. Choose the level you need, listen daily, and understand this. This platform is no longer growing. Right? I want you to understand that. Because we used to say, keep going, keep growing. We're not doing that because this platform is no longer growing. It's deploying. And I'll see you guys on the other side.